Good day again, my dear students. So for today's video, we're going to continue our discussion about the principle of mathematical induction. Now, for our example number 3, pwede nyo pong i-pause itong video ito and you can answer it your own for as long as you can po. So I hope nakuha nyo na po yung answer. So for our step number 1, we must prove that this statement holds for n is equal to 1. So we have here the summation of 1 all over I times I plus 1 as I moves from 1 to 1 is equal to 1 all over 1 plus 1. Ngayon po, dito sa summation na ito, ang sabi po, si I daw po magmumula kay 1 patungong 1. So technically, that is just equal to 1. So ibig sabihin, 1. So ibig sabihin po, yung ipapalit po natin kay I ay lahat lang po 1. So we have here 1 all over 1 times 1 plus 1 is equal to 1. 1 plus 1, that is 2. So we have here 1 divided by 1 times 2, 1 over 2, is equal to 1 over 2 and 1 over 2. So we therefore proved that the step number 1 holds true for n is equal to 1. Now for our step number 2, so step number 2 daw po natin, kailangan nating palitan lahat ng n by k. So we have here the summation of 1 over I times I plus 1 as I moves from 1 to k is equal to k all over k plus 1. So ito po yung tinatawag natin na hypothesis of induction. At katulad po ng mga ginawa natin sa first pong example, kailangan lang po natin siyang standby dahil mamaya po gagamitin natin siya for our step number 3. Now, let's start po our step number 3. So, step number 3 naman po, we need to change all of the n by k plus 1. So, step 3, the summation of 1 over I times I plus 1 as I moves from 1 to k plus 1 is equal to k plus 1 all over k plus 1. So, ito pong part na to, kaya po natin siyang ma-rewrite as 1 over 1 times 1 plus 1 plus 1 over 2 times 2 plus 1 hanggang po makarating tayo kay 1 over k times k plus 1 hanggang kay 1 over k plus 1 times k plus 1 plus 1. So now, ito po, pwede natin siyang ma-rewrite into the summation of 1 over I times I plus 1 as I moves from 1 to. Pero, ito pong part na to is actually equal to this one. So, ibig sabihin, pwede din naman po natin na i-rewrite na lang siya as k over k plus 1. So, we can rewrite this as k over k plus 1 plus 1 over k plus 1 times 1 plus 1, that is k plus 2, is equal to k plus 1 all over k plus 2. Ngayon po, ang gagawin po uli natin dyan is to combine po these two fraction. Ngayon po, ang gagawin natin is kailangan mag-isip po tayo ng LCD or least common denominator. At dito po sa dalawang to, since parehas po sila may k plus 1, automatic po na meron ditong k plus 1. Pero meron din po kasi ditong k plus 2. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan din po nating mag-add ng k plus 2 sa denominator para po maging common sa kanilang dalawa. We have here k plus 1 times k plus 2 divided by k plus 1, that is only k plus 2, times k, that is k times k plus 2. Plus, ito po, k plus 1 times k plus 2 divided by k plus 1 times k plus 2 is just 1 times 1 that is 1 is equal to k plus 1 all over k plus 2. Ngayon po ito, pwede po natin siyang i-distribute. So we will have k times k, that is k squared, plus k times 2, that is 2k, plus 1 all over k plus 1 times k plus 2 is equal to k plus 1 all over k plus 2. So ito pong k squared plus 2k plus 1, we can also factor it by k plus 1 times k plus 1 all over k plus 1 times k plus 2 is equal to k plus 1 all over k plus 2. So as you can see, both po sa numerator and denominator may k plus 1. So meaning to say we can cancel this out and our answer will be, so dito na lang po natin, k plus 1 all over k plus 2 is equal to k plus 1 all over k plus 2. So as you can see, both of the sides have the same results. So therefore, we arrived on the correct proving. So by the principle of mathematical induction, this mathematical statement is true for all natural numbers. So I hope po, my dear students, nakukuha niyo po yung process. If you still have questions, please don't hesitate to comment it down below. Now, my dear students, let's proceed to our last example. You can also pause this video and try to solve it on your own. So I hope you've already tried it na po. Now, let's proceed to solve this problem. So we have here step number 1. So step number 1 po, lahat po ng n gagawin po nating 1. So we have here the summation of 2i minus 1 as I moves from 1 to 1 is equal to 1 squared. So that will give us 1. So here po, since from 1 daw po hanggang kay 1, so ang ibig sabihin lang po niyan ay 1 lang po si I. So we have here 2 times 1 minus 1. So 2 minus 1, that is 1, is also equal to 1. So ibig sabihin, true po siya sa step number 1. On our step number 2, we will change all of the n to k. So step number 2, we will have the summation of 2i minus 1 as I moves from 1 to k is equal to k squared. So mamaya lang po natin yan magagamit. Let's proceed now to number 3. The step number 3 naman po natin, we need to change all of the n by k plus 1. So we have here the summation of 2i minus 1 as I moves from 1 to k plus 1 is equal to k plus 1 squared. Ngayon po, ito pong part na to is equal po siya sa 2 times 1 minus 1 plus 2 times 2 minus 1. Kasi po, from 1 daw po hanggang makaabot kay k plus 1. So, ibig sabihin, patuloy po siya hanggang makaabot kay 2k minus 1 hanggang kay 2k plus 1 minus 1. So, ngayon, let's copy the right side. So, ito pong part na to, from 1 daw po hanggang kay 2k minus 1 is actually equal to the summation of 2i minus 1 as I moves from 1 to k. Pero ito pong part na to is equal daw po kay k squared. So, ibig sabihin, we can just simply substitute this part by k squared. So we will have here k squared plus 2 times k plus 1 minus 1. Huwag pong kalilimutan na meron pa po dito laging kasunod. Opo, ito po ay nire-represent niya yung k plus 1 na last element po nitong summation na po. So we have here k plus 1 squared. Now, distribute po 2 by k plus 1. So we have here k squared plus 2k plus 2 minus 1 is also equal to k plus 1 squared. Ngayon po, combine like terms. So we have 2 minus 1, that is 1, plus 2k plus k squared is equal to k plus 1 squared. So alam po natin na ito, kapag pinag-factor out po natin, so that will give us k plus 1 times k plus 1, which is also equal to k plus 1 squared. So ito pong part na to is just equal to k plus 1 squared is equal to k plus 1 squared. So, ibig sabihin po, the step number 3 is complete. And we can say that it holds true for k plus 1. So, ano pong ibig sabihin yan? Ito pong mathematical statement na to holds true for all natural numbers. So that's it for today, my dear students. Thank you for listening and thank you for bearing it with me. So see you next time po, my dear students, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. You can also share it to your friends para mas lumago yung community natin. Thank you! Bye!